So my name is Symposium Steitz. I'm co-founder and CEO of Novomorph AG. A little bit about my background. In 2016, I finished my master in chemical and bioengineering at ETH Zurich. And since February 2017, we are actually operational. We founded the company. And now, since a couple of months, we are on the market. So as a rough outline, what I want to talk to you about today is, first of all, about us, what we're doing. But before I'm doing that, I would like to introduce you to metal organic frameworks, because I believe that a lot of people here do not know what it is, and then with a special focus where they can be used in the energy sector. So what are metal organic frameworks? I'm sorry, the font is a little bit off. So metal organic frameworks are the fastest growing materials in chemistry today. And this has a very specific reason. So in my hand, I'm holding 1 gram of this material. And this 1 gram has a surface area comparable to a soccer field. So these materials can reach surface areas up to 6,400 square meters. You can imagine them as the next technology wave after active carbon or zeolites. So they're world record holders in surface areas, and this is the main reason why these materials have been showing such an interest in academia and industry. So what are metal organic frameworks exactly? So they're crystalline materials, so they're already pretty stable by default. They have the highest porosity and surface areas ever known to man. And basically how it looks like is that you have these materials are formed by self-assembly from organic ligands. These are aromatic dicarboxylic acids and some metal ions or clusters. And the great thing about these materials is, first of all, the tunability, because basically you can take any metal, any transition metal from copper to zirconium, but also aluminium and iron, for example, as a metal source, and you can vary the ligand size, so making the ligands longer, more aromatic rings, for example, to form larger or smaller pores. And with that, you get a great chemical and structural properties. Yes. And additional to that, of course, you can also include functionalities. So you can functionalize the organic linkers and get with that, again, specific properties, for example, chemical behaviors. So what kind of functionalities are possible, or which fields can MOFs be applied? So keeping in mind that they are very versatile in their structural and chemical behavior, they can be applied more or less anywhere where you need volume, pore volume, you need surface areas. So it starts off, if we go at the top, you can use it for sensors, for chemo and biosensing. You can use it in the health sector for drug delivery, for example, but you could also use it, for example, as personal protection in chemical, nuclear, and radio protection suits. Then, of course, in chemtech and catalysis, you can use these materials, but then also in clean tech, where you can use it to store gas or separate or purified gas streams. And then, of course, in the gas sectors, where they can, for example, be used in batteries to fabricate batteries. So now I would like to show you, in more specifically, 4 examples where MOFs are studied. Some are already commercialized, some are very close to being commercialized, and I just want to give you an overview what is happening in the energy sector with MOFs. So the first example I want to show you is adsorptive gas storage. So this is, of course, storage based on physisorption. So you get a higher capacity in tanks, for example. And there are, for example, CO2, methane, or hydrogen that can be stored within the pores. So you see here different MOF structures. where they can go into the pores, they're retained, there are this adsorption effect, and in return you have a higher capacity in the tanks itself. So, for example, here's one study where they could prove that one of the MOF, which is called H-gas1, was actually showed 400% higher working capacity for CO2 than the benchmark zeolite 13X. And going to methane, there was possibilities to show that when you use an empty tank, which is the gray line, and you put methane in it, you get kind of this curve. Then you have the green one, which is active carbon. And then compared to the other ones, to the red and the blue curve, you see that there's a significant benefit when using MOFs within a methane tank. Then, so of course, this technology is very interesting, and there are some companies who are actually working on that. So, concerning methane, Volkswagen has been running there some tests. So they actually participated 2007 in a eco-fuel tour from Germany to Bangkok in Thailand, where these cars have to be powered by methane, and they used actually a tank filled with MOFs, and they could show that the range was extended as well as the tank capacity with these materials. And then there's, of course, Mercedes-Benz and Ford. They're actually looking at fuel cell vehicles, and they're actually also working there to use MOFs to store the hydrogen. And again, so this is now at 77 Kelvin, so it's not the ideal conditions for storing in a vehicle, I would say, but they also could show that there's some significant improvement in the storing of hydrogen. So this is the first example I want to give you. The next, I want to go a little bit more into the catalysis part. So what are there the benefits? So first of all, again, the pores are highly structured. We have a crystalline material, so the mass transport inside the pores is hardly hindered. That's one of the first benefits. Then, of course, you can, if you impregnate, for example, the active species inside the pores, then you can achieve a high density of fully exposed active sites per volume. Then, of course, the active species can be on different locations within the MOF. So, first of all, the metal of the MOF itself can, for example, be the active species, but it could be also connected to the ligands, so by post-synthetic modification, or simply by taking the active species and growing the MOF around this material, encapsulating and immobilizing this active species. And there's just one example, power to gas, where a study was able to show that a catalyst system based on MOF showed twice the CO2 conversion rate than to a benchmark support like SiO2. So let me just quickly check because, okay. Anyway, so then the third example I would briefly discuss with you is thermally driven heat pumps. So basically what you do there, you have a working fluid, and here in most cases they use water or methanol, ethanol. So there's already a very environmentally friendly way of operating these driven heat pumps. And then there the MOF is used as a adsorption material, and you get as a result this heat from the adsorption itself. And MOFs were proven to be a competitive alternative to silica gel, zeolites, or these silica aluminophosphates. So where you can actually reach up to 1.2 weight% inside the MOF of water loading. And then one very interesting topic where MOFs are actually already used and commercialized are batteries. So there you can more or less use the material for a lot of things. So you can use them to to fabricate the electrodes, for example, anode cathodes. You can use it for the electrolyte as a precursor or as a matrix material. So you either use the MOF directly as it is, as the framework, or you, for example, pyrolyze it to form a other species like a carbon source, use it as a carbon source, or something similar. And to give you an example, what is actually this commercialization? So you can actually buy this on Amazon, unfortunately only in the United States, but you can directly order it on the website. And this is this power bank. It's called Lumopack, and this is based on metal organic frameworks. And what they're stating on their website, so this one arrived today, so I couldn't really check if this is really true, what they're saying on the website. But what they're saying is basically that they have better cycle stability than any battery known so far, or like the premium battery packs, whatever it is, what they're meaning with that. And what they're also saying that they're the fastest charging batteries. So they're saying they can charge them with 140 watts. So this means that this battery pack, which has 6,400 milliampere hours, can be charged within 18 minutes. So basically what they're saying, if you would take this technology and put it in an iPhone 6 or 7, you could charge this iPhone in 6 minutes. So this is what is stating on the website. I don't know, I couldn't confirm that yet if this really charges that fast, but I can tell you later if you're interested. And we don't know exactly everything about how they're using the MOFs inside there, because of course they're a business. They want to keep their business secrets. But what we know that they're using it at least in two ways. First of all, for the cathode material, where they in the end pyrolyze the MOF to generate the cathode material, and additionally, to make this material more safe, they have like a layer of MOF around the whole battery itself. So in case there's a penetration, like if you have really something sticking into the battery, that you don't have immediately the oxygen from the atmosphere flowing in, causing a short circuit or something like that. So you have there like this additional security measure of this protective gas layer around the battery. So I hope I could give you a little bit of the potential, an idea of the potential of metal organic frameworks in the energy sector. And as you can see, there are great opportunities. There's a lot going on in this field. And there are already first successful stories as these batteries. And other success stories are, for example, they're used in the food sector, in the shelf life management. So basically, they use the MOF to absorb ethylene from the food container to prevent the food to go bad. And another alternative is subatmospheric gas storage, which they use in the chip manufacturing, where they store arsenide gases and other toxic gases safely in these containers where MOF is inside. So there are great opportunities. However, the challenge with MOF is, first of all, low commercial availability. So these materials are very versatile. There are over 20,000 different MOFs known nowadays, but only around a dozen are available on the market currently. So this is the first challenge that MOFs are having currently on the market. Then, of course, the synthesis is very time-consuming and difficult. And then, of course, the scale-up, which is always a topic, scaling up the synthesis of a material is always a challenge, as you have always this trade-off with the quality at some point, or issues with the quality. So these are the main challenges of MOFs, why they're currently maybe not that advanced into the market as they could be. And this is actually the point where I would like to tell you a little bit about the story, how we got from the idea to the market. So basically, back in 2013, we had the idea to find a reliable versatile and scalable production method for MOFs. So this was the idea, and in 2014 I started with that. I did my master thesis on this, as well as a research project and an internship. And the result of that was that we found a novel production process for MOFs, which shows higher efficiency, better quality, and scalability than the state-of-the-art methods. So in short, we developed a process which is continuous flow, based on continuous flow, and a tuned heat management system. And when I finished in 2016 my master, I had two possibilities: to do the PhD or go maybe a different way, the entrepreneur way. And in the end, I decided to try the other track, and I visited some entrepreneur classes also from CTI, the CTI entrepreneurship courses. I visited that, and as a result, in 2017, this year, in February, we founded NovoMOF AG, where we are focusing on the synthesis and the high scale-up production of metal organic frameworks. So what we are actually doing at NovoMOF is we produce and deliver any MOF. It can be a standard MOF, a custom MOF, or especially not the commercially not available ones. So, and what are the problems that we solve? First of all, as you heard, at access, there are 12 different materials currently on the market from over 20,000 materials known. So we want to close this gap in availability. Then, of course, time. This is the other problem we're solving. So the synthesis can take up to hours to days. With our process, we are capable to produce these materials within minutes. So we can increase the production rates, and we can increase especially the time to market with our process significantly. And then, of course, the scale. So as I mentioned before, when you scale up, you often see the issues of loss in quality. And we are using a continuous flow process, so there we can also guarantee that we can scale up pretty easily with no major process changes. So what is the solution process that, how do we operate at NovoMOF? So we have 3 different steps how we work with our customers. So the first step is the MOF selection process. So a lot of our customers or prospects do not really know what MOFs are, and we are basically assisting them in terms of consulting to find proper or interesting materials which show potential to be used in the specific application of the customer. So this is the first step where we identify interesting materials. Then in the second step, we produce these materials, we set up the synthesis for these materials and provide these materials to the customer itself so that they can test them in real life application or like in their application to see which material is the best one, the most performing material. This can also be an iterative process where we then change the composition, for example, of the material to find the best material. And once the case is there that the customers could find a material which is interesting to them and they want to commercialize, then we can furthermore supply them on their journey with these materials also then in larger scales. So, as I mentioned before, quality and efficiency is the result of our technology, which allows us to produce MOFs at consistent high quality in custom quantities and high volume orders. And we are supported by a team of scientific advisors, and we also had already the opportunity to host, for example, the MOF conference, the international conference on these materials, and we also had some support by being in the Swiss Technology Award as a finalist, and in 2016 we won the Venture Business Idea competition where we got 10,000 Swiss francs prize money, which we used for the conference. So I'm almost already at the end. So what we're basically doing is, with our technology, we provide any MOF material at any scale at consistent quality. And we work together with companies who want to commercialize MOFs and as an innovative driver and competitive advantage. And we are currently located at the Paul Scherrer Institute and at Parc Innovare, as Guillaume mentioned before, where we use the services of Parc Innovare and Switzerland Innovation. And with that, I would like to end the presentation, and I thank you for your attention. And if you have further questions, feel free to ask.